What's good, y'all? If you tapped in, you already know who I am. If not, my name is Caleb Jarrell. What do you do when life puts you in the middle? When life puts you in the hallway of decisions, of circumstances, of uncertainty? You're going through life and things are switching up. People are switching up. Things are changing and you don't know which direction to take. You don't know who to trust. You don't feel like you have anybody you necessarily can go to. Sometimes you just gotta lock in with God. Sometimes you just gotta lock in with yourself and ask God, God, what do you need to prune out of me? What are you trying to get me to understand? What direction do you want me to take? Who do I need to remove out of my life? And a lot of times he'll do that removing for you. He'll do that molding and that pruning of the things in your heart that he needs to. But what I'm starting to experience and understand is sometimes you just got to be still and let him do that. Allow him to mold you. Allow him to take the things out of your heart, change things in your heart, change your perspective so that you can have a new perspective, that you can think bigger, that your priorities can change. But what I'm experiencing is sometimes it's hard to sit in that. Sometimes it's hard to be still and allow him to do that because we want to control everything. We want to know that we want a certain level of comfort in life. We want to know that we have everything controlled because of our actions. When a lot of times God don't need us to put actions in for certain things. And he can still have a better outcome and apply and give us an opportunity bigger than what we could have done ourselves. You know, me personally, I've been self-employed since I've been 18. I'm 22 now. So one thing about self-employment or working for yourself or even just leaning into your creativity, when you know it's your calling, when you know that it's what you're supposed to do in life, you're constantly going through transitions, whether it's dealing with people, dealing with locations, or dealing with you and yourself. You're constantly going to go through changes. You're constantly going to have seasons of uncertainty and not understand exactly what direction to take sometimes. And if I'm being honest, you go through a lot of situations where God will put you in the middle, where circumstances will put you in the middle, in that hallway of uncertainty where you don't know what direction to take, where you don't know if you're still supposed to do this, because it's easier to go get a job. Even in my defense, it's been hard for me to get a job, or it has been hard for me to get a job in the past when I tried. But my creativity works. Serving people works. It's like the way God provides when I do what I'm supposed to do. As far as serving people, as far as running my business, it's like it's working, but I don't like the uncertainty of it sometimes. I don't like the times where I don't know what's going on. But all I know is it builds something in me. It's times where I'm asking God, okay, God, why did you choose me? What made you choose me? What made you trust me so much? What made you think that I could go through everything and still come out when everybody else around me don't understand what I got going on? When I don't feel like I can talk about people because they won't relate, they won't understand me. So I keep things to myself. So I deal with the mental battles that I go through. So I depend on myself. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely experienced him placing people in my life that I've recently been able to go to or recently been able to trust. But that takes time. Sometimes you don't get that right off the bat. So I'm constantly asking God, okay, what direction do you want me to go? And sometimes it feel like he don't hear me. Sometimes it feel like I'm just walking in the desert on my own. And sometimes I feel like I can't lean on anybody else. Sometimes I feel like I got a blindfold on and my hands tied behind my back, but I just know to keep walking. I just know to keep taking steps. But every time I take a step, it feel like I'm getting bounced back three more steps. So I'm taking a step of faith. I'm continuing to be creative. I'm continuing to work on my craft. I'm continuing to do the things that I feel like God put in my heart to do. So it's like I take a step, whether it's people or circumstances. After I take that steps, I'm pushed back three more steps. So I feel like I'm climbing out of a hole just to get brought right back down. And it's hard to go through those seasons. It's hard to go through those times where you feel like you're alone. It's hard to go through those times where it feels like no one can relate with what you're going through, with what you're experiencing. And you also don't want to feel like a burden to anybody else too. Going to them, telling them your problems, because we understand everybody has problems. But it's even worse when you don't feel like somebody can relate to your reality of life, what you battle with every day. The fact that you have to have complete faith every day for God to provide or for God to come through. And I'd be wrong if sometimes I don't question God. Not in a sense of, you know, disrespectful, but in a sense of like, okay, why? Just help me understand what you're trying to do. Help me understand what you want me to do, how you want me to go about it, who I need to deal with. And sometimes you don't get that answer. Sometimes you just have to go through things and adapt and adjust and be still. But one thing I will say, every season that I've gone through like that, God has definitely still came through in a way that I wouldn't have even imagined. It makes me recognize, okay, you needed me to go through this for something, whether it was to touch some people, put an example in front of them. You know, I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm treating people right. My heart's changing to not be selfish and be guarded, but also extend and help other people. So I feel like I'm giving. Every day I'm giving. Through my craft, I'm giving. I'm speaking life into other people. I'm helping other people. I'm guiding other people on, okay, you do this in life. You can correct this. Or sometimes I'm just being that example where I don't even have to speak to somebody, but they see the way that I carry myself. They see the way that I work. They see the work ethic. But it feels like the way that God wants me to go, every time I try to go that way, it doesn't work out like I need to. Or it gets harder and harder. Or something slows me down. There's some barrier. And the only word that I have is why. Why do I keep facing this? Why do I keep going back to the same things I say I'm done doing? Why do I keep having these same feelings? Why do I keep being done wrong by people that I've been doing right by? When I've been genuine, when I've been trying to help people, when I've been trying to help people do better and be better. So I give, and they take, or they leech. And it's like, why do you have me here? I would rather do things on my own. I would rather be to myself. I would rather be guarded and not even allow certain people to have the opportunity to do me the way they do me. But I understand that I understand that there's another side. I understand that sometimes you got to go through certain things to get to the other side. You don't understand it in the hallway of being done wrong, in the hallway of people leeching off of you, in the hallway of people just being people. So nobody talks about that middle. We all talk about the end. When the crowd is at the end, when everybody praising you for what you've accomplished, when you've accomplished that goal, when you've made that certain amount of money, when you've gotten that car, when you've gotten the materialistic things in life. when you finally have that peace of mind. We all glorify the end, but nobody talks about the middle. The middle is where you really get tested. Your faith is tested. Your obedience is tested. And that's all that I pray for is that, God, whatever you put me through, I understand that I got to go through it, but help me to be obedient. Help me to have the right heart. Help me to have the right mindset. Help me to understand that you won't leave me and you're still there, even when I don't hear you, even when I don't feel like you answer my prayers, even when I don't feel like nobody can relate to my reality and what I go through, the things that I have to put up with, the people that I have to put up with. And I'm showing up feeling like I'm doing everything right. Nobody talks about that. But when you're in the middle, you have to stay grounded. You have to watch who you keep your ear to, who you give your ear to, who you're listening to. You have to watch the company that you keep. Because if you're not careful, you'll have the right motive, but your heart can be bad. Your heart can be in a bad place. You can start to build up this bitterness, this hate, unforgiveness. And we'll carry that with us because of what people have done or because of what circumstances have become into new territory. But once you get to that territory, you start to understand, okay, God, I get why you was doing this. I get why I had to experience this. Because that experience, the way people did me, or the way that circumstance went, you needed me to reach and be an example in that moment. You needed me to elevate somebody, to help somebody elevate. Because that may be the only capacity that they have. That may be the farthest that they may go in that season. So sometimes I have a bigger capacity. I have a capacity to deal with people. I have a capacity to be done wrong but still want to be forgiven. I have a capacity to be done wrong but still try to understand where somebody else came from or why they did what they did, and still have a heart to want things to be good for them in life. Still have a heart to pray for them. Still have a heart to go to God on their behalf. Asking God, okay, God, I know they did this to me, but I ask that you touch their heart because I know the way that you stuck behind me. I know the revenge and the way that you move on my behalf. So being that I care for these people so much, these people that I try to do right by, being that I care for them so much, or being that I understand the relationship that we have had, I still have a heart for you to touch theirs and cause a change. And I ask God, why do you make me like this? Why did you make me like this? Because I continue to feel used. I continue to feel taken advantage of. But like I said, once you get to that territory, you start to understand. Because it's not about me. At the end of the day, it's about God and Jesus. It's about the heart that I'm supposed to have. It's about touching people and inspiring other people. It's about being the example no matter what I got to go through. And continuing to do that in the midst of being lied on, in the midst of being stolen from, in the midst of being talked about, in the midst of being deceived, in the midst of being done wrong. And that's when I get my answer of why you put me in the middle, why God puts me in the middle. It's because I know that I can count on you to keep doing right. I know that money don't move you. I know that you have morals, you have principles, you have integrity. So I can trust you to go through these circumstances and still be the example that I need you to be, of being a follower of me, of being so focused in life that you don't have time to deal with unnecessary people. You don't have time to deal with unnecessary things that's going to pull you away from building the business, building the lifestyle, building the family, building the generation, the next generation. You don't have time to focus on the negative because you're so focused on elevating, not only physically, mentally, spiritually, but just relationship wise also. Not only elevating yourself, but pouring into other people. That's why I put you through circumstances. That's why I put you in the hallway constantly. That's why I make you uncomfortable constantly. Because I know that I can trust you. Because you go to me, you don't go to vices. When it gets hard, you come to me. You can come back and humble yourself and ask, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to focus on? Did I go wrong in some way? Okay, boom, if I did go wrong, because you come to me and ask for forgiveness. Because you understand that you're not perfect. Because you can come back and humble yourself and not do people wrong, even when they've done you wrong. So that's why God will put you in the middle. Because even when it hurts, even when it gets foggy, even when you don't know what's going on, you still lean on me. And when it gets good, you lean on me even more. So I know that I can trust you. So that's why God will put you in the middle sometimes. Because you can be that person. That example for the people around you. That light for the people around you in the world of darkness. So once I get this revelation, I start to understand, like, okay, God, I understand why you put me through this. I understand you need to put me through this in this situation, in this circumstance before I get to this newer territory. I'm starting to understand it. And when I start to understand it, now I got a new perspective. Now I got a new heart. Now I got a new focus. I'm not complaining no more. I'm not sitting in it no more. It don't feel good, but I got to go through it. It don't feel good, but I get it. It don't feel good, but I got to be that person. Because guess what? When things go wrong, when people need things, when people need advice, when people need to be uplifted, guess who they come to? Me. So I need you to experience these things for other people around you. And it's not easy to be that person. I understand that. But God placed that heart type in you for a reason. God placed you to be a hard body for a reason. And it's hard to be that hard body on a daily basis. But guess what? In my weakness, God will strengthen me. And our weaknesses, God strengthens us. So when we don't feel like we have that capacity, when we feel like we're running out, when we're tired of giving and feeling like we're being taken advantage of, that's when we have to continue to lean on God. So this is for a video. This video is for people that continue to go through that hallway, continue to be put in circumstances that you may not understand why, understand how, feel like every day you're doing the right things, but life continues to get harder. Continue to be that example. Continue to focus on your heart. And don't never let nobody take that from you and change your heart. Don't never let nobody take that mindset from you and change your mindset. Those are two of the greatest things that you can have that makes you different from everybody else. And people will see that. And when people see that, they understand that you're different. Not better than them in a way, but different. Something different about you, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you continue to do the right things when people do you wrong. And that's when they start to watch you even more. And then that's when you open the door and you talk about God, or you understand why you even go through certain things that you have to go through. and it clicks and it makes them want to understand and think about the God that you serve. It makes them want to know, how do you do what you do? And it's because I got God in my life. It's because the things Jesus did for me. How can I not return that? How can I think things in my life are so bad when I look and see and recognize the things that Jesus did for me, that God did for me, the things that he sacrificed? It makes me have a right perspective. So that's all I can do. Continue to be that example. That's all you can do. Continue to be that example. No matter how hard it gets, we're going to go through certain things. We're going to go through certain circumstances and deal with certain people that are willing to do whatever for this life. But as a follower, you have to understand that it doesn't end here. And there's a bigger reward. And once you understand that, you get a bigger perspective. You continue to build capacity to handle the things of the world, to handle people. So take that. Let that be a new perspective. Let that build a new perspective. Let that cancel out complaining. And continue to lean into who you're supposed to be and who God called you to be. That's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. On the road to 1,000 subs.